We fought a hair-covered necrotic zombie wizard in his cave under the sea, and each roll was determined by the flip of a coin, simulating a nat 20 or nat 1. WTF is this module called? Looks at notes. Harry Potter and the Chamber of Secrets. Promise you won't get mad. Well, I know what campaign I'm going to be running next. Special thank you to my YouTube members and patrons for supporting the channel and supporting my content. How's it going, everybody, and welcome back to another subreddit video. Today we are once again going to be returning to r/dndmemes. It's been a fair while since I last looked at these, and I enjoy them, so we're gonna have a look. Little personal victory here. You know my neighbors that play music every weekend? Well, my window's open and there's no music. So basically, I gave them a taste of my own medicine. I'll put a little sample here. Sweet victory. And they rose to my challenge and blasted their music even louder, and then got yelled at by a neighbor, and now there's no music. I don't know if this will last. Next weekend, I imagine they're almost definitely going to be playing music again, but it's a minor victory for today, so starting this one off with a win. Let's take a look at the subreddit, shall we? When you're a necromancer, but you have a regular 9-to-5 job instead of doing evil shit. Honestly, like, when you look at a lot of D&D characters like necromancers, like, they've got to make a living somehow, right? Like, what does a necromancer actually do for a living? I think this is reasonable. In fact, in my D&D world that I'm writing up a campaign, by the way. Probably won't stream or video it because I don't have the resources, but I'm making one. Maybe I will, I don't know. What do you guys think? I might have to start giving all of my wizards and stuff like actual jobs outside of being wizards, because that makes sense. Well, my mom is an orc. My father is a very ballsy half-elf. How half orcs happen. Yeah, thinking about it, yeah, like, it's either gonna be a half elf or a human, and like, it's kind of the same either way. When you only want to RP in D&D, so you make a build so broken it ends combat instantly so you can get back to the RP. Modern problems require modern solutions. Why have I never thought of this? It all makes sense. What? I need to do this. I'm a fool for never thinking of this. I was raised in a tribe of mercenaries. Blood and warfare is the only life I've ever known. I killed my first man when I was 10 years old. I've lost count of how many I've killed since. My track record is spotless. I don't fail. I don't miss. My dice. I gotta simulate the sound. 1. Oh, well, he didn't miss. I guess that's the joke, that he never misses. He didn't miss, he just hit someone else. I really got the dice for that. Me listening to what my players think I have planned. I have absolutely nothing planned. This is relatable. This is whenever I DM, in a campaign I DM'd before, it went so off the rails. I had like 3 sessions planned, and that was about it. I kind of had the broad story, and oh boy, did that go off the rails. That it didn't stay in that story for long. But that's what you gotta do as a DM, you know? You gotta improvise. You gotta just roll with it. I bet he's thinking about min-maxed girls. If a vampire drains a fairy, is the fairy a thrall from the bite, or is the vampire commanded by the fairy since it ate fae food? This is a really valid question. I don't know the answer. I want to know the answer. Let me know what you guys think, because genuinely, so in D&D, vampires can make thralls, right? They can bite people and make them into their servants. However, if you eat fae food, you get controlled by the fae. Do fairies count as fae food? They are fae, and they are food to the vampire. I don't know. I need to know. Who else is in the tavern with us? There's a Tabaxi at the bar by themselves. I'd like to walk over and strike up a friendly conversation with them. See if they know what's what around here. Alright, what's your icebreaker? I say, pss, 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 pss. Tabaxi. Yeah. People treat Tabaxis like cats a lot. I mean, they are kind of cats, but they're cat people. They aren't cats. But yeah. After consulting with half-elves, half-orcs, half-dragons, half-devils, and many other half-species, it has been decided to give humans a more fitting name. We welcome the slut folk. They really do be sleeping with absolutely everything in D&D though. Like honestly, it's the bards. I blame the bards. The horny bards are the reason that all of the half races in D&D exist at the end of the day. Dear DMs struggling with murder hobo PCs. This is a friendly reminder that nothing stops you from giving your important NPCs a loyal, OP gunslinger vampire bodyguard that pops out when something threatens their boss. You can always out-murder hobo your players. This is a really valid thing, right? And it's not just like creating one OP person. You know what? Something that goes around murdering and looting random villages and people is considered to a party? Bandits and villains. In a world where magic exists, adventurers exist, all of those things exist, the party playing isn't necessarily the only party. So if your party starts going murder hobo, another party would probably be quested with taking them down. Just bear that in mind when you've got a murder hobo party playing, that other adventurers exist and would go after those bounties. This woman on TikTok asked, what do centaurs do with their arms when they are galloping? And I can't stop thinking about it. What do they do with their... Okay, so assumedly if they've got a weapon or if they're in combat, they'd be in a stance, right? So like sword and shield, they'd be galloping like that. Or if they're a monk or unarmed, they'd be like galloping like that, right? If they're just running out of combat, they're just running because they're late for something or whatever, do they like... or like, do they just arms down to the... Do they Naruto run? Do centaurs Naruto run? I think they Naruto run. That's my answer. Centaurs be galloping like this. That's the dumbest thing I've ever heard, and I'm making it canon in my world. I get more long rests in D&D than in real life. Yeah. Wow. Yeah. Having a crisis. Every class can fail a wisdom save. Neither damp debauchery nor wholesome emotional intimacy shall lure me into that water. But I made burritos, so no 4-player Left 4 Dead co-op. There's always a way. Always a way. DMs, if they're not falling for the horny, trick them with something else. There's always a way. Things to say that will always start a fight. What number is 000? I don't see how this starts a fight because you either have the right answer or the wrong answer, okay? By D&D rules, 000, 100. D10s either go from 1 to 10. They don't go from 0 to 9. They go from 1 to 10. If you have a 10 and a 10, that's 100. If you have 001, that's 1, okay? Fine. But if you have 000, it's 100 by D&D rules. The reasoning for this would be that if you have a 0% chance to succeed, it doesn't require a roll, does it? You have no chance to succeed. But yeah, so basically in D&D, you have D10s, and 2 D10s makes a D100. I'm gonna have to explain the rule because I didn't really explain it. A 0 on a singular D10 is considered a 10. A 0 on 2 D10s, it depends. If it's a D100, you have the 10s unit and the non-10s unit, right? And if the unit on the 10s unit rolls a 0 and then the other one doesn't roll a 0, that acts as a 0 because you have 1 to 9 as an option in a percentage roll. However, you also have 100% as an option in a percentage roll, which means that 3 zeros is 100. Ta-da! Rolling well against a player. Rolling well against a player that mocked you and the difficulty of your encounters. I've never had someone mock my encounters or my DMing. I think because I have players that are generally polite and it's not something you're gonna do. Like if you insult your DM, you're in for a bad time, right? You want to have a good game. If you're gonna criticize them, just talk to them and be like, hey, so I have this issue with the campaign. You don't just be like, hey, your campaign is easy, because you're in for a bad time if you do that. And I've never had a player that has done that, and hopefully I never will. And the final post. First session of the group, we're discussing how the game will likely go. I don't really focus on the whole dungeon aspect of the game. So we'll be playing And Dragons? You'll probably die before you come across a dragon, to be honest. Welcome to everyone to the first session of And. And that's where I'm gonna end the video, everybody. I hope you have enjoyed. If you want to support me in making more content like this, then I have a Patreon in the description down below, or equally you can click that join button to support me. It helps a lot more than you might realize, but by no means should you feel like you have to. Special thank you to Nix, Holly Miller, Kaori Ann Mori, Chase Howard, Karen Duca, Top Shelf, out. L, Rennie, Dev, Thomas Penny, Emily Potter, Greyhound, Maxine Lankow, Gravity Gaia, Kelly Bock, Carolyn, The Angry Potato, Sven Arctic Fox, Outcast Jupiter, Abel Eros Winchester, Ghost Orchid, Charlie the Mad 256, Kate Cat, Two Lakes in a Valley, Ica Limchok, and Agent Galaxy, Ronnie, Tam, Bug, Toxie Rain, Salted Denim, Poet Blanderson, and Auntie Kaylee for supporting the channel and supporting my content. Thank you so much, guys, and as always, I will see you in the next video. Peace out.